April 26th is Power of Econ Day. Stay tuned at the end of this podcast to find out about the free, engaging financial literacy resources for Power of Econ Day, brought to you by Econ Essentials and Discovery Education. 5 ways to bring financial literacy into any school, episode 295. The 10-Minute Teacher Podcast with Vicki Davis. Every weekday, you'll learn powerful, practical ways to be a more remarkable teacher today. Today, we're talking with one of my favorite financial literacy gurus, Brian Page, about 5 ways to bring financial literacy into the classroom. Now, Brian, what's our first way?
I have to start with Next Gen Personal Finance. Next Gen Personal Finance and Tim Ranzetta, who's the founder, was just recognized earlier this week by Jumpstart as really the leader in the industry. He just received the Pinnacle Award. And that night, he announced that he would continue to give back and make the programming and the resources free. And he dedicated $25 million more over the next 10 years to ensure that he could do that. The organization is full of up-to-date resources that include anything from lessons that are comprehensive, a turnkey semester class, turnkey 9-week class, turnkey trimester class, to single activities that are interactive teachers can use. He has games that he's developed. He has a blog post. He has podcasts to keep teachers current on evolving content. And he's dedicated to providing training throughout the country. So he just had a national conference in San Francisco that was entirely sponsored and had 110 teachers in to provide 3 days of training. And then over the summer, he's hosting all kinds of fin camps, 1, 2, and 3-day fin camps in various states across the nation that teachers can attend for free. The other thing that I love beyond how comprehensive their core curriculum is that he has a large full-time staff who listens to teachers, and they're constantly updating it, which is particularly necessary in the financial space where it's constantly evolving. And the other thing that sticks out is that it's primarily shared through Google Drive. So many teachers are like me, where they like to take lessons or resources and tweak them based on what's best for their specific students. And by having everything on Drive, it makes it really easy to go in and maybe make small little subtle tweaks.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one.
What's our second?
Our second is a complete resource dump, because there's so much out there. I wanted to bring to life some other resources that people can look into later. NEFI is a great resource for students in high school and in college. They have great lessons on their website as well. They have a terrific life values quiz that I love to use. The Council for Economic Education is terrific, not just for financial literacy teachers, but for teachers who teach economics. Knowledge at Wharton High School has an extensive website full of podcasts and articles and lessons. And I was on a team that developed quite a few lessons that are downloadable. They're free. Some other great rock star teachers helped with that. Lisa Bender and Lois Stahl, Jacqueline Presser. Jumpstart, of course. They have a clearinghouse that allows teachers to dive in and enter search criteria and filter out specific lessons for them, and then take charge today. And finally, GFLEC has micro-credentials. So if you just Google GFLEC, there are 20 micro-credentials that I created along with other standout people such as Dr. Lasardi, who really led the project. The thinking behind that is to attach teaching methodologies to specific topics, and that the methodologies that are coupled with the topics are evidence-based, right? You can show that methodology is most effective for that topic. So that's my number 2, and I know It counts as about 50.
But that's fine. And the teachers will love all the links that we will put in the show notes like we always do. Okay, what's our third?
The third is Time for Payback. It was funded by Next Gen Personal Finance, and it was announced, it was released a few months ago. The New York Times did a really good article on them. And essentially, the founder of Next Gen Personal Finance saw that the game Spent, which is really popular for financial literacy teachers, was really effective. Teachers loved it for a number of reasons. And so he hired the same company who developed that that game to also develop this game. And the goal of the game is for students to experience the types of decisions that you have to make just prior to college and through college that you don't necessarily think about, right? So we always thinking about, how much to borrow and the interest rates and, on and on. But he gets you to think about how to make the day-to-day decisions that are tough. Do you work and take time away from social life and enjoy college less? Or do you join a fraternity? Are you able to sign up for your classes on time? So you're constantly introduced to these little daily dilemmas that all of us make or all of us face in college, and then it scores you based on how you do.
So is this like a little simulation or others in it, or is it just kind of independent with you in it?
It is an independent simulation, and it takes anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes. It's probably the best tool that I've ever seen to help teachers teach kids about college.
Wow, that's a great endorsement. Very cool. Okay, what's our fourth?
Fourth would be Visa's financial football game. They're going to be very soon releasing a new iteration of it in the next couple of months. I was thrilled to be on the team that helped work through some of the test or some of the question revisions. And it's a really fun way to introduce financial literacy quiz questions like Quiz Bowl format questions in classrooms anywhere from elementary to high school students. And they also have financial soccer. And they have a big announcement coming in the next couple of months on a story-based game. Unfortunately, can't go into any detail, but I was thrilled to be on the team with that. And I can assure you it's something that people have never seen before. And it's an engaging way for students to experience the types of personal finance decisions you have to make on a daily basis. And then based on their choices, they're sent in different directions. So this whole story is riddled with financial landmines that are tough to face. And then the challenge is can teens face those and end up winning a game.
Oh, very cool. Okay, what's our last one?
The last is a challenge to listeners. So I was able to partner with United Way and bring United Way in to file tax returns with my students. So my students brought their W-2s and any other paperwork that was needed, and United Way volunteers sat with my students throughout each of the bells that I teach, and they filed their tax returns with them. A lot of people forget that teens oftentimes have earned income, and I saw a statistic once that only 3% of teens file a return, yet 25% of teens have earned income. So you have all of these teens out there working, and we know the standard deduction next year is $12,000, meaning they're going to get every penny back that they paid in federal taxes, assuming they didn't put themselves as exempt. So at the conclusion of the day, my students receive $6,500 in tax refunds, and it's something any teacher can do.
Wow. Of course, you'll have to check with the parents and see who's being claimed and where, of course. But that's so great. That's awesome. Okay. So we have all of these different resources. Now, let's finish up with this. Brian, do you think that there are schools that are still not covering financial literacy? I can't imagine how, but is it happening?
I know there are. If you go to Next Gen Personal Finance's website, they have in the upper right-hand corner a hashtag FinHero. And it was an extensive project where not only did somebody survey every high school, 85% of high schools in the United States, but they built out all of these advocacy tools that teachers could use if they wanted to advocate for financial literacy. So what they found in the process is that only 1 in 6 students are receiving financial education. United States. So just think about how detrimental it is for an 18-year-old whose single decisions are compounding through their entire life. If they miss a payment, they don't know that it's on their credit report for 7 years. If they misuse a credit card, they don't understand how that affects their credit score. If they don't start investing for retirement when they're young, they miss out on compounding and will never have the opportunity to retire. You can go on and on about all of these adult-like decisions we're asking students to make before they even graduate high school, and we're never giving them the tools to make those decisions.
You know what? And if a school claims that it's future ready and they're not giving every student access to financial literacy, they can just stop pretending that they're future ready. Because if you're not ready to manage money, you're not ready for your future.
Very well said.
Yeah. So teachers, advocate for it. We've given you lots of resources. There'll be lots included on the blog post accompanying this. And, financial literacy is just something that we all have to do, and we all have ideas for what we can do. And Brian Page is a fantastic resource, as you can tell. He's got lots of impact happening with financial literacy programs around the country. And let's do this.
Please, others, get on board. Let's make this happen. Let's make change happen. Let's get personal finance skills in every classroom.
On April 26th, celebrate Power of Econ on Twitter with Discovery Education, CME Group, and their Econ Essentials program. We'll have free resources available for downloading. To join the celebration, tune into the Twitter chat with me, fellow teachers, and the CME Group's chief economist on April 26th at noon Eastern Time using hashtag Power of Econ. Visit coolcatteacher.com/econ for more information. And remember, tweet out your pics on April 26th about how you teach your students financial literacy using hashtag Power of Econ. Thank you for listening to the 10-Minute Teacher Podcast. You can download the show notes and see the archive at coolcatteacher.com/podcast. Never stop learning.